Welcome! You're listening to the DISCMANIACS podcast. This week's cast is brought to you by Thunder Disc Golf and Discmania Incorporated.
All right, guys, welcome to episode number 2 of the DISCMANIACS podcast. So thank you guys who listened in and tuned in last week and gave all your feedback. We really appreciate you guys listening, and welcome back to another episode. Those of you who listened and those who are new to the podcast, welcome. So to start it off, just want to catch up with you guys. How's your life in disc golf been over the past couple weeks?
Well, here in Colorado, it's been pretty good, honestly. We got some great weather, and with great weather comes great responsibility. And you need to go up to the mountain, basically, and play all those awesome courses up there that were basically snowed off and you can't get to during the winter in those off-season months. So went up to a course called Buckhorn. It's a private course.
Buckhorn,
yeah. Great course.
Homemade baskets.
Homemade baskets. Let me tell you about these baskets. If you miss a putt, you don't want to miss a putt here. If you miss a putt, it hits like the cage area. Your putter, if it's a brand new putter, it's going to go from being brand new to like looking 2 weeks old already.
Yeah, there's some sharp edges out there.
Is it just like welded weird or something, or like what? How do the
it's
baskets?
Made out of like metal.
Sheet metal? Yeah, like sheet metal.
Oh, like the actual
cage.
Cage, yeah.
The chains are great. The chains and everything, that part is great. It's just the part that it lands in. It's just a big, like, I don't know, when you hit it, it's like, I don't know if you ever hit a piece of metal. It's like
it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
You just get the gong.
It reminds you, like, if you're obviously putting low, it reminds you to like get your putt up, obviously, but more obnoxiously.
Well, especially if you're scared of taking a chunk out of your putter.
Yeah. But yeah, so played some beautiful mountain courses, played that one. And then the weekend before, I went and played just around with Tyler, actually. I went out and played a local course, Eudora. So that was fun.
Yeah, you guys play that one pretty frequently, right?
Yeah,
that's the best in the area.
Nice.
In our little area.
How'd you guys shoot? You still got quarantine arm? Or are you guys good?
We were okay, actually. Yeah. I thought. Yeah.
Tyler beat me, of course. You know, but it's always a battle, you know. Just fun to go out there to try to beat Tyler.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a good round.
It's nice to play with people that are better than me, speaking from personal perspective, because, you know, just biting off people's lines and stuff is, like, always a good thing for my game.
Sometimes I didn't know how to do that because I would have to go first when I got a birdie, and he didn't.
Let's be honest, you weren't going first very often.
True.
That was a good battle, actually. We were pretty tight.
How'd you guys end up? Was a score separation?
I think he was 9 and I was 7.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. It was a battle. Dang.
Yeah, it was good.
Good times. What about you, Tyler? I know. So you were playing with Jaime last week, but did you play it all outside of that? Playing Eudora?
I don't play Eudora very often because I live right next to another course that it's not very good, but it's empty. There's like 4 trees on the property, so it's pretty sweet.
Nice.
But there's no one ever there, so I play there most of the time just for practice. And I've been playing quite a bit. I've been really working on my forehand, like going at it hard during quarantine, and got some blisters to show for it.
Shut it off for sure.
Yeah, it's coming around. I think I can safely say I've found a new weapon, which is pretty exciting. Something to strive for.
Nice,
deadly.
Dude.
And I just got I'll talk about the discs later. But yeah, I've been playing with my dad as well, but he kind of tweaked his back, and then I tried to follow his line, and I was moving a bunch of lumber for a covered patio I'm about to build, and tweaked my back. So
wow,
I'm out of disc for. I'm hoping it'll be about a week, but
oh man,
try to get straightened up. I'm getting older, you know. Stuff happens.
Moving up there.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Other than that,
you're like late 20s, aren't you? You're not even 30 yet, are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, you're 31. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I got one last year in my 20s, and then it's all downhill.
Y'all are some old men, let me tell you.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've been working out a lot, and honestly, I'm feeling better than I have in a while. So
Good
age
man.
is just a number, folks.
You can always bag masters.
Yeah, Master's gonna be pretty stiff field by the time I get there. So
Yeah. I keep telling myself that my prime is going to be like 40s, 50s. Then I'm gonna if I just keep myself healthy while all these guys are throwing out their backs,
Right.
like
yeah, victory through attrition kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to win the war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself, anyways. Jaime, I forgot to ask you what was there any discs or anything that was really standing out to you, like especially at Buckhorn, because it sounds like that's a little bit of a different course. Like, are you still just pretty much leaning on your essence, or like what are you throwing out there?
I can't talk about what I was throwing really.
Oh my goodness!
Ooh,
Yeah.
exciting.
But I'm loving it. It's not a new disc really, but it's a variation of a disc.
So you're throwing it off the tee? Or...
Yeah, off the tee. Yes, definitely off the tee. I don't know. It's magical. That's if I had to describe it. It's something I can more pump into than normal and trust it. But other than that, the other course before the week of Buckhorn, sorry, it just came to me, but it was Red Feather, which is a course called Sundance.
That's a good one too.
I played that one with two friends of mine, Brubeck and Kevin Dallas. Shout out to them.
Fellow Discmania employees.
Yes. But when you go up in altitude, there's different discs. They obviously fly different.
Right.
And so I was flicking my Enigma up there, which just goes so much further than flicking a DD3 up there.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I was also throwing my Essence like stupid far, honestly. So yeah, so my Enigma and my Essence 2 weeks ago, and then this last weekend, can't tell you really what it was, but it was standing out a lot.
Tune in next week.
Bummer you asked. I'm so sorry, but I guarantee you, everyone's gonna love it when it comes out.
Nice. Yeah, I've been flicking my Enigma a little bit more too, because with the DD3, it's definitely I have to put it like pretty flat. Like, I like that it's super trusty, then I can throw it like accidentally Anheuser and it still comes back, which isn't so much with the Enigma. But yeah, just for max distance, that's interesting that you say that, because I was trying that out over the last couple weeks as well, and I never really gave it like the fair shot that it really deserved.
Yeah.
So just because I was comfortable with my DD3s, because right now in my bag I have like a proto DD3.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I know trusting the Enigma now more than the DD3. I feel like the DD3 came out and then the Enigma came out, but it was kind of too close to each other, in my opinion. But now people are like, "Oh, I'm going to give it a chance now," and which what I hear a lot, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost in like a weird spot, because it's, especially speaking from my experience with like I suffer from quarantine arm for sure. So going back and throwing the Enigma, where the end, over the winter I was kind of just flipping it and having it do like turn or straight shots, and my arm speed got a little slower with the break, and so then I was like, what the heck, this isn't flipping like it did before. So I feel like some people who probably have more of my arm, like 380 to like 420, it's probably a little bit of a weird spot, depending if you're like a super smooth thrower, or if you put a lot of torque on it, it's going to flip a bit more. So I don't know. I think that's why I wasn't using it for forehand before, because just a little bit of inconsistency makes it so that sometimes I don't know if I throw it flat, if it's going to just go straight and gentle fade, or if I'm going to roll it over. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, but so now that I've got quarantine arm, like I've been saying, I pretty much know I can trust it. So,
well, and it should be noted, like Jaime was talking about playing these mountain courses, and we're at 5,000 feet, and it only goes up if you're playing the sweet courses. So
right.
Discs. I mean, if you're listening and we're talking about throwing kind of more understable stuff, but we're throwing it really hard, that's why. Like,
right.
when you go up in elevation, things get a lot more overstable, a lot less glide.
Yep.
So, like when I'm at high elevation, I turn to my Havoc, which is like my roller disc at low elevation or at 5,000 feet. But that's like my big crusher up at above 8,000 or so.
Right.
Just because the flights, it's extremely noticeable if you haven't ever changed elevation drastically.
Yeah, we've got some slight elevation changes around me, around Portland. There are some that I actually don't know how high it really climbs, but like we have a mountain course on Whistler's. That's I mean, it's not super close, but yeah, we've got a couple courses like that. But for the most part, we're, stay at a pretty consistent level, which is pretty nice because, you can go drive and play a new course and you're not going to get super huge variance in what you're throwing or what you're having to throw.
Right.
So, but it does make us miss out on some of those big mountain courses, where
it's a funny adjustment, like especially when I'm traveling around. I don't play a lot of big tournaments, but when I do, it's like I bring a box full of brand new discs because I'm like, I need the most stable versions of everything I normally throw.
Right. Nice, man. So yeah, then sorry I interrupted you, Tyler, before, but started talking about discs. But so yeah, I'm glad you got a good weekend out though. So that course you're saying you play, is that an 18 too? The like not as busy one, or?
Yeah, it's an 18. It's called Hughes. It's right at the foothills, but it's kind of in like a irrigation pond area, like for for runoff. Okay. And they tried to plant a bunch of trees. It's not that old. It's probably 5 years old, maybe. And most of the trees didn't get watered properly, so they're not really growing. And sounds like we're probably going to lose it because I think they're going to put some housing in there. But it's got 18 baskets. It's pretty wide open. I kind of make up lines in my head. And
well, isn't there a story behind like where that course is at now? Wasn't it like wasn't there the old college stadium over there or something like that?
Yeah, so the Hughes is named after the CSU football stadium, the Sonny Lubick Stadium, and they tore it down and built a brand new fancy facility on campus. So they left I don't know if they can do anything with the land because they need it for runoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. It's kind of
it's sad. I lived here now for a year and still haven't played that course.
I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it.
I mean, I feel like I need to play the courses around me to say like, yeah, I played it.
I mean, it's fine. It's not the worst course in the world. It's just kind of
I'll knock it off the list sometime.
I always want to say that about some of the courses around me, and then there's always somebody in the group that's like, I like that course.
Yeah, I'm sure there's, and I can't say I don't like it. I play it all the time, so.
Yeah. It's got pretty good, like, variation of distance. Like, can you open up at that course, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of long shots. That's kind of, there's a couple 700 footers, a lot of 450, 500 footers, but there's some elevation, which is nice to play with.
Gotcha.
But going back to the disc that I've rediscovered, which I'm so stoked about right now, is the Air Halo.
Okay.
Which Halo is one of like the oldest latitude drivers. Like, I don't know when it was put out, but it's one of the first ones. And I got an air one from my dad, and the air plastic, the stability stays true. Like, they're just as stable, and I've been flicking it, and oh man. Okay. I just got myself another like 30 feet, no effort sidearm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I may well have to try again.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah. Are you guys doing a forehand measuring contest?
Well, Jaime's got a good forehand. I'm still working on mine. There's,
I want to improve though. I feel like I can get better. I don't know. I don't know what I need to do, to be honest. I need help.
Somebody help me.
I was watching I think it was a while ago, but Eagle, I forget, I think it was like he went live on Instagram or something. Maybe it was one of his vlogs. But he was sitting around a restaurant with his dad, and he was like, "All right, Dad, how do I get more distance?" And he was just like, "Go up to the top of a mountain and just throw every single disc you own until your arm's about to fall off."
His YouTube video helped me a lot. His like sidearm clinic one. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep.
That was huge for me, just for footwork. Nothing really else, but my footwork was kind of messed up. So
Okay.
that was a nice little addition.
Yeah, I've got kind of like when I started throwing forehand, I was pretty much inspired by like Sarah Hokum. So I just kind of do like the shuffle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't do the weird
hop.
super dip down thing she does.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anybody else in the world can do what she does.
Yeah.
I tried for like a round one time just to see if I could shot shape like that, and I like almost blew out my hip. So
yeah, that's what it looks like to me too.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't have whatever it is that she has.
Yeah.
There's something missing in that equation for me.
Yeah.
But
me, when I based my sidearm, I was a big Sexton fan when I first started playing. So
yeah,
big Sexton fan for sure, and that's where I try to base my sidearm off of.
Yeah, he kind of swings his left. He like has his hips open and then like closes on his final step, which I never really understood how he like transferred his weight and like the rhythm of it. I never really understood how that worked out for him.
Hop.
Yeah, he's got that hop. I tried, and man, it's not for me. No hop for me.
And just you think that like the whole baseball history that you said you have, Tyler, like a crow hop to a hop like that.
Well, that's how we used to throw thumbers, was a crow hop, but no, doesn't work for sidearm for me. Trust me, I've tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's more of like a shuffle. Yeah, I don't understand. So do you do kind of the same footwork as him? You do kind of like the open, close, open type situation
Pretty much.
With your hips?
With me, yeah.
Pretty
it's a little
interesting.
Mix of everything, but mostly that.
Pretty interesting. What do you probably just flick like DD3s, right?
I flick DD3s, FD3s, those are the main two.
Yeah.
My Exo Tactic hard plastic now, but I mean sometimes I'll flick an Enigma. It just depends, honestly.
Right. Nice, cool, man. Yeah. So as for me, I went out and I've been playing a new course in my area that's on private land. It's a 9-hole course, but it's got a good mix of shot shapes. Some shorter holes, like definitely I think if Tyler, for instance, any 1,000 rated player were to go out and play it, I could see him easily getting like 12, 13 down if you just play 2 rounds of 9 there. So it's not incredibly difficult, but for me, where it's like I can throw 400 but not accurately, I gotta like step down to like 380 if I want to get a little bit smoother and know where I'm gonna land, kind of. So it's a good course for me and good challenge. It's got some good like tunnel shots, and you definitely have to hit lines there, but it lets you open up at the same time as well. But what's really cool about it is it's actually the property that it's on is or was primarily like a wedding venue, and like I don't know if they have a bunch of flowers and trees around, so I don't know if they actually do that to like sell them, but anyway, so it's like this super beautiful property because they have it set up for weddings and all this stuff. And what's pretty incredible is it looks like the owners pretty much set up that whole track of land that the 9-hole is on specifically for a disc golf course. Like all the trees are planted to be fairways or to be, restricting greens and things like that. Like, and so they're pretty like mature bushes and trees. So
you're getting good views and good golf, is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit. Like, you go down a pretty big fairway or freeway, but then you have to drive out like another like 20-25 minutes on like smaller highways to get out there. So it's kind of like secluded, and you get the fresh air, and there's no road noise or anything. And it's really awesome. I don't know if you guys follow Jomez on Facebook, but they actually posted a picture of one of the structures that the guy built in front of one of the baskets. It's this giant metal, they call it an ogre, but it's just like this giant metal dude. It's probably like, I want to say I'm really bad at guessing
75
measurements, but yeah, it's like it's got to be like 40 feet at least. High,
dang!
Like 45. It's pretty big, dude.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm on their Instagram right now. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't see him post on Instagram too, but that makes sense.
Canby, Oregon, is that?
Yep,
is that the
Canby.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, that's the city. But so it's got that giant structure, and it's got a little sign next to his foot, and it says "Don't feed Fernando," which is pretty cool. But
that is sick, dude.
Wow,
yeah, it's dope. Yeah,
so is the gap to hit it through his legs? Like, what's the line?
Yeah, so it's not actually a triple Mando. A lot of people, like the people I played with, we were just like, all right, it's a Mando. Like, we have to play it as a Mando.
That makes it better and more fun.
But the official word from the owner is it's not an official Mando or anything. Like, but it's a pretty good drive, especially for me to get really to that structure, to get to Fernando in the first place.
Yeah.
I want to say, I mean, it's not a super crush, and it's a little bit downhill, so I'd say just guesstimating the total hole length all the way to the basket might be like 430 or something, 415, somewhere around there.
Pretty substantial to go through some legs.
Yeah, for sure. And if you can see in that picture, which I'll kind of describe it, but on the tee, the left side of the fairway is kind of wooded trees, so you don't have a lot of room to throw, like, say you were gonna throw like an Essence or like a Ballista Pro or something like that, to like just work a full flight with something kind of understable so that it finishes straight, you know what I mean? So you don't have a lot of room if you're gonna try to go straight and have it turn, like slow turn in. You got to hyzer flip, and you got to have touch to get it there.
Okay.
And since it's, I'm pretty sure it's over 400 feet. So at that point, it's a really, really good hole, I feel like, just because it does limit your ability to, just crank on something like Anheuser and just, go full gorilla on something, And then on the right side as well, going up to the basket, it's pretty well blocked. Like, you have to shoot into that gully if you want to get there. So you kind of have to make a choice of whether you're going to try to do a touchy crush, basically, or if you just, lay into more of a simple hyzer and then give yourself a circle to run at it. That seems to be pretty much the most popular choice there. So really good hole design. And even the shorter holes, like I said, super manicured fairways, just nice lush grass, but short, like it looks like, my dad's lawn or something. So yeah, you can see one of the owners, you can see him just rolling around on his mower in the mornings. Like, we got there first thing and he was just out mowing, and super cool dude, super chill. And so just super well manicured, and it definitely forces some lines. Like, there's another one that is definitely at least 450, but you got to shoot through a super low gap, and then it goes out into a little clearing, and then there's like an old tractor, like an old rusty dead tractor. Like after you kind of shoot through a gap and get in a clearing, and the tractor's like kind of right in the way of the perfect line, so you kind of have to play around that. And then the basket sits on top of a hill, so if you run it too hard, then you actually can roll down and go in like this little creek. So super good hole design. I would say it's the best 9-hole course I've ever played. And not that I'm out playing a bunch of 9 holes all the time, but you know, usually when you think of a 9-hole, you're thinking like pitch and putt, or not that great a hole design, or maybe it's, you know, just kind of open or in a public park or something like that. But super well designed, and you can tell how much work and love the dudes put into it. So yeah,
So did you talk to the owner? Did you ask him, like, did he purposely like save this land for disc golf?
Or yeah, I did talk to him a little bit, and he said, yeah, that was pretty much the plan. So,
and so you've been there. Is there room like for like to make it to 18?
Yeah, so they are planning to add more holes going forward. I was talking to his wife, the other owner, and she was saying they're not sure if they have enough space for a full 18, because it seems like they want to have the holes be, you know, they don't want to just throw random short holes on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. They want them to be quality disc golf holes. So as much as they can fit, she was saying they're kind of thinking somewhere around 13 maybe is what they're guessing.
There's a course out here called Oxbow. I think it's a fun course. It's a good course. It's where I got my first Colorado Ace when I moved out here. Nice. But I think it only has 12 holes. Yeah. And it's a great course, honestly. Like, it has every kind of shot you would want. So yeah, I mean, there's good courses out there that are not full 18 courses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think some of the better 9 holes that I played are, I'm trying to even think what would really even compare, to be honest. I've played some in California. There was one in, I want to say it's in like Modesto or something, that actually was not bad. It kind of played around a couple baseball fields, but there was actually a lot of trees around. So they did a pretty good job of making good tunnel shots and kind of forcing, you know, like forehand, backhand, and it actually had some uphill and downhill shots. You know, there weren't any 400 footers or anything, but they had, you know, 330, 340, 350 type holes, and then obviously some really shorter ones. So I would say that one, and yeah, I think that's the only one other 9-hole that I've really ever been inspired to be like, oh yeah, I'll go play that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a good one in New Zealand if you ever make your way there.
Oh, nice.
There was one that I played a bunch. It's on the grounds where they filmed a bunch of the Lord of the Rings scenes.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah, it was sweet.
That's sick.
And it was a good course. We drove like an hour whenever we needed to play.
Dude, that's so dope. I'm definitely down.
Yeah, hit up Wellington, New Zealand.
What, you said Wellington?
Wellington, New Zealand. Yep.
Wow.
The capital.
No, there's anywhere else named Wellington, but here where I live.
No, that's the real Wellington. You're the knockoff one.
I agree.
Off-brand Wellington.
Yeah.
Kroger Wellington.
God damn it.
But yeah, so I played that, and then I also made my way over to Boise last weekend and played. I had played this course already before.
Oh.
It's called Ann Morrison Park. It used to be different because where I think it was their front nine, where that front nine used to be, that actually turned into a dog park. Like Boise, the city turned it into an off-leash dog park. So they moved some of those holes and moved it to another part of the park, which luckily they had enough room to still make up for it and put in a whole new 9. And they did a really good job, especially with the land that they kind of had, because where they had the original 9 that got replaced, there was this big, well, not big, but they had, I don't even know if you'd call it a creek. It was more of just like it's like somewhat of a man-made lake, but I think they do get some water from the river. I don't know. Anyways, so it's kind of standing water, but it's a good, probably 50 feet wide. So the holes that they needed to replace were actually really good holes because they played along the water and made kind of that nice, OB where it was fair OB, but, so they had kind of a challenge, I think, where they moved from there to more of just like open field kind of, but they managed to work around the trees pretty well and create some new tunnel shots, and they did add a couple more open holes where they aren't quite as long and not quite as much challenge, but they did a really good job making up for it. So luckily for me, I was able to get 2 rounds in, and the weather was great. So yeah, my
nice.
form finally feels like it's coming back a little bit more naturally.
Yeah.
Because Jaime had talked to you about this before, but I'm one of those people that like thinks about their form mid-round, especially
it's a dangerous
when I haven't
game to
played
play.
for a while. Yeah, exactly. I try not to, but it's just, if I throw a bad shot, I can't help but think, oh, well, I didn't quite pull my arm down quite enough, or
Right.
oh, my reach back was a little fast or something like that. And then, yeah, so definitely getting those rounds in at the Hoot in Canby, that 9-hole, was definitely a challenge for me, just staying out of my head and playing naturally.
And dialing in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's starting to feel a little bit more natural now, especially since I played a couple rounds. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see that I didn't lose everything.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've been putting a crap ton because of quarantine.
That's
just
the most important part right there.
Yeah, so my putt is feeling way better, which is great. So once I can get off the tee a little bit better, I think I'll end up.
Still hit the first tree, man.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. And for me, actually, and Jaime actually sent you a Snapchat, but I have been actually really digging a Metal Flake MD4, which is, I don't know why I hadn't really given the MD4 like a lot of play before. Like I've actually had that same Metal Flake MD4 in my bag just for like headwind shots, and like if I'm just kind of thinking, maybe my MD3s aren't enough disc for a little headwind, or I don't think it might not finish, or my form's just janky, then I'll grab the MD4. But at that course in Boise, there were like 3 or 4 holes that were just kind of the perfect distance for, that MD4 is just like super straight, like dead straight, throwing it hard, and then like nice solid fade,
Yeah.
And I was really surprised that I was actually pushing it pretty straight and getting a gentle fade out of it, because I always think, oh, Metal Flake, it's going to be, beefcake, plus it's an MD4, so...
Just think sparkle.
My friend called it man
Metal
glitter.
Flake is such a harsh word.
Get Metal Flake out of your mind and just think sparkle.
Yeah. Yeah, though, I was kind of thinking that I kind of want to get another Metal Flake MD4.
I know a place.
I know somebody. But what I would really like to do is get, I don't know if you guys, well, I'm sure, Jaime, you listen to rap, because I think we've talked about that before, but MF Doom, how he's got that mask?
Yeah.
I kind of want to just get a Metal Flake MD4 and put the MF Doom mask, dye it on there. So it's the MF MD4.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure you are the one that stamped this disc, but I had got the one I have in a mystery box, and it does have a team stamp. It's a double stamp, so it's got the team stamp and then
Hey, you can't mess
flag
with that
stamp, mini Discmania shield, like wing stamp in the middle, and it's like perfectly lined up. And I'm like, ooh, like I want to do that, but also this one's so sick.
Definitely my work.
Disc golf problems. So that one's super sick. But so I was leaning on that a bunch, and to sneak in another one, I have just continued to fall more and more in love with my Exo Hard Links for putting.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, at first, they are pretty beefy, especially for me coming from P2s, like P2s, like D-line P2s, or even like I was putting with the swirly D-line P2s from mystery boxes a little while ago.
Galactic.
The Galactic P2s.
What you calling them is what we like to call them, because we didn't make a name for them. It was more the fans that made the name for that disc.
Yeah.
And so people were, so I call it the what you've been calling them P2s.
Nice. Yeah. So it was. They're such beautiful putters, and they feel so good that it was hard for me to switch over to another putter. But I did feel like my confidence with them wasn't super great, because my mistake putting is usually either like nose down because my arm timing is weird or something, or like just kind of like wobbly Anheuser, and I don't really have that super spin putt that a lot of you Colorado guys have, which I think my suspicion is that comes from elevation, that you guys all seem to just put a crap ton of spin on your putts just so they like continue to float at elevation.
It's windy here too.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Also a fact. Yeah,
true. So because I noticed that about, obviously Eagle, I mean, Simon's not a Coloradan, but he's kind of from, mountainous areas, I'm pretty sure. And then Austin, Tyler, I've talked about your putting style. You kind of have like a throwing spin putt, so you keep it pretty level with a lot of spin.
Yeah, so, mine's changed a lot over the years. I used to be a Nico style, and just wasn't working.
Yeah,
I definitely had to put a lot more oomph on my putt since I moved out here. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. Like, if it's really more, I've added more spin, or I don't know what I've done, but I definitely had to put harder when I moved out here.
They just don't float here.
They don't float.
There's no freaking air, man. Go down to sea level. I'm like, I can stand still from 60 feet now. This is sweet.
Yeah, man. Come out to Milo. You'll be crushing.
Dude, I hate throwing at low elevation just because my body doesn't know how to do it. But putting, it's so nice, man.
Yeah. Just stable up. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Switch to the full ballistas instead of the pro, probably.
Yeah, I'm just throwing like enforcers all the time.
Yeah, there you go. But so I mean, I just don't really have that style. I kind of started the way I started putting, and the person I idolized was Paul, right? Because he was like,
not a bad choice.
Been the man.
Yeah.
So kind of it's hard to define Paul's putt really, because
it's like a spoosh.
Yeah, it is pretty unique in that way that, it is a spush, but he uses like a lot of legs, and like he's super extended when he putts. And I mean, he still puts spin for sure, but it's, I don't know, it's like a force of will almost that it seems like he puts on his putts.
Yeah, he just tries that hard, it goes in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, maybe I can't putt like Paul because he's amazing and his form is crazy and hard to read. And like his focus is just crazy, like how
That's
he can
the thing, I
focus
think, that focus.
Yeah, and it looks like he's not trying, but super trying, and so anyway, so trying to copy Paul put me in a lot of weird places for sure. I think it probably would have been easier if I copied maybe almost anyone else.
Yeah,
if I started with like Simon, probably would have been, I think, probably a better choice. Like if I teach somebody how to putt, I'm mostly trying to teach them like, shoot from your hip and just
from the belt and spin it out there.
Yeah. So I still don't have that. I'm trying to slowly move my way there, but anyway, so the P2, is great for that putting style. And I mean, it's great for spush too, but I have small hands, or not like small hands, but I don't have eagle hands.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a deep dish for me. And so like spushing with the P2 has always been a little bit weird on my grip. Oh my. Okay. Hang on.
We got dogs.
Anyways. Little dog interruption there. So, but yeah, the P2, it's an amazing putter for sure and has done me no wrong. I completely understand that it's my fault that I don't putt well with them or consistently with them. And I want to so bad because I know if my form was just better or I was just more consistent putting and my timing wasn't weird for some reason, that P2s would be perfect.
Yeah.
But it is just being what it is. I remember Austin came out to Oregon right before the links were dropped, and he was just telling me like, dude, try these putters out, and he let me try one of his Exo Hard links. And I was just like, man, I really can just put all that I want to put on this, and it just handles a little bit more of my weirdness.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, I have been slowly falling more and more in love with them, especially as they beat in. They beat in super, super slow, but now that they are getting to that kind of worn in feel, both just the plastic and the flight, like they're actually gliding out a little bit more, and I can, kind of get a little bit more comfortable with putting them on hyzer and feeling like they're going to actually go straight for a long time. I can be outside circle and still hyzer putt them like kind of straight,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a honorable mention there. Long honorable mention, but
I love the feel of Exo Hard plastic, honestly. Like it's a stiff plastic, it feels good, it's grippy. I would love that, but I can't get around the bead. I'm a beadless putter kind of guy, so
yeah,
I can't do it, but I want to.
Makes sense. So yeah. Anyways, so that's my life right now.
Nice.
One thing I did want to talk to you guys about, and hopefully you guys got a chance to mull over a little bit, because I was talking to some of my family that was listening to the podcast, and they're kind of beginners, and considering we're in the beginning of our podcast kind of career here, it might be a good place to start to just kind of introduce people to DIS and just like, hey, if you're a beginner, what DIS should you look for? And also, I think it might be a good topic for just, I feel like people always like talking about this, even if they're not beginners, like people who've been playing the sport a long time. Everybody's got their own opinions of, oh, well, you should just only start with a mid, or, oh, well, you can use like a flippy fairway driver and a putter, or so yeah. How many did you come up with anything? Like I had tasked you guys to think of like 3 DIS, but is there like an ideal setup that you would lean towards to get somebody
Mine's a mixed setup. Yeah, I got one for you. I got a mixed setup I got like kind of 2 for the driver and mid. But for the driver, the first one would be a diamond by Latitude. Right, Tyler? Don't let me quote me if I'm wrong.
You're correct.
The diamond, I think, is a great driver for anyone. It'll help you learn your form and correct it in ways you need to help yourself. obviously. And then another disc like that would be obviously an FD. A nice C-line FD would take you a long ways. It'll help you learn, like, oh, am I throwing with too much hyzer? Am I throwing with too much anhyzer? Am I forcing it over? So it's just a great driver to help you learn your release point, to how much power you need to put on your shot, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then for mid-range, what helped me was a Rock 3 and also like a baseline D-line MD. Those two, kind of variation between those two, were my go-to mid-ranges for a while, honestly. And
yeah, the MD was the DMD was definitely one of my picks as well.
It's basically what those two drivers are going to do, but in a mid-range form, in my opinion. So yeah, I recommend those two. And then for a putter, once you're getting more comfortable and you're going to start throwing putters, I would recommend XT Nova by Innova. That disc helped me learn how to throw a putter, honestly. Loved it. Once I learned how to throw that, I moved on to Wizards, actually. And
wow,
it was,
that's a big jump.
Yeah. But, I was playing every day. So this is just, kind of gauge yourself. If you're playing every day, then yeah, probably make that jump. But if you're not playing every day, I would keep throwing the Nova and just rely on that Nova and then move up baby steps maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, the Nova is a weird one because I agree you can definitely shot shape with it, and it's a great training disc. But I guess if you're starting out, then it's notorious because it's got that overmold, right? And like the
looks cool
screws in it or whatever it has, like the little bumps in the inside of the rim.
That, like,
I always joked it looked like a McDonald's toy, but you watch like Bradley Williams or Macbeth before he switched, throw it, and it doesn't look like a toy anymore.
Yeah.
No, sure. Like, yeah, that honestly, watching Macbeth throw this as well, I was like, I need to give me one of those. Yeah. And I got myself one, and I still have it. Actually have it in my hands right now. And I wish we had a disc like this.
Well, Latitude's got a little overmold, maybe.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah. We'll talk later.
Yeah. Pitch down the weekly meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
And what about yourself, Tyler? What are your three discs?
So I'm very much in the camp of just throw a putter.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, my dad was, he was a stickler through life. No curveballs before your, arm can handle it. So transferred over to disc golf, and I don't even remember what putters I was throwing. I think I wouldn't recommend over about a 10 speed, which I think the diamond's an 8.
Do you guys make that in the air plastic too?
So
diamond's the air is the lightweight, right?
Yeah, diamond's only lightweight.
Oh, okay.
It's 145 to 159.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it doesn't actually. I might be biting my tongue here. They might have just come out with a max weight diamond.
By
I don't know if
demand,
weight matters.
probably.
I don't think weight matters a ton. It matters a little bit here and there, but I wouldn't go too fast. I think it covers up errors that can persist if you really want to dedicate yourself to the sport. It can do detrimental things to your form, and that's really hard to break once you've developed a technique to go back and fix it. So throwing putters, throwing mid ranges. I guess if I'm gonna actually throw names out there, the Keystone from Latitude's pretty new. It's super neutral to flippy.
Interesting.
I think if you can learn to control that, if you got some wobble in your shot, it's going to just dump into the ground. It's probably going to be super frustrating. And so if you're just going out to have fun, maybe that's not your choice. But if you want to go learn, that's the one. Or something along those lines. A Nova is very similar. Something that will embarrass you if you're not doing it properly.
Yeah, I guess it depends too. Like if you come from like a frisbee like background, if you're used to flicking frisbee on the beach or something, then the putter might feel way better because you don't have to rip on it.
Right. It's a little more more familiar, and I'm mostly speaking for backhand. I mean,
Yeah.
Forehand, I think it'd be pretty hard to progress too far with a flippy putter.
Yeah. I mean, if you could though, that would.
I think it's
your
doable.
touch would be insane.
There are not a ton of guys that do it.
Yeah.
But and then for mid range, I would just something neutral. I throw the compass. That's been in my bag for years. It's not a super popular mid from the trilogy lineup. But it's similar to like a rock or a buzz, some along those lines.
And the compass, that's an overmold, right?
Nope.
Oh,
That's
no?
just a regular old disc.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Atlas, probably from Innova.
Oh, the Atlas, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's just straight. Just it can handle power, but it's neutral as long as you're coming out clean. And then honestly, if you're gonna go driver, I would keep it under a 10 speed. A diamond's a good choice. Something with some neutral flight numbers and
yeah,
low
for
speed.
sure. Yeah, I think I was thinking about it, and I almost am like thinking just a little bit more leaning towards your camp, Tyler, because for me, I have, it's kind of cool hearing how your dad kind of showed you how to play and, gave you direction as far as like, putter only type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for me, I'm more of what I think is maybe a little more typical is, one of my friends played disc golf, was new to the sport, and introduced me to it. So I go to Big Five and get, the tie-dye champion.
The fastest. Yeah. Yeah,
like
for sure. I think that's really common.
A 125 DX AVR or something. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that I definitely agree that when you do that, you definitely do pick up some pretty bad habits, like especially just like off-axis torque, like just
it just covers
pushing
it up
and pulling the disc in weird ways that makes the disc like flutter when it comes out and stuff like that I didn't even realize was a thing until a year into playing.
Well,
So,
and I think it depends a lot on what you want out of it. If you just want to go, have a beer in the park and play around with your friends, then maybe grab something a little quicker that you'll be able to throw out there. But if you want to progress in the sport and try to be the best golfer you can be, I would say go start slow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so like I was saying, I kind of think the D-Line MD is probably what I would give someone. I was kind of on the fence of whether I would even give someone a putter, to be honest, to start out with. Just because, I mean, if you can learn to putt with a mid, even a flippier mid, I was kind of thinking like maybe that would actually help transition to a putter by making you throw it a little bit faster when you're putting in order to get it there. And then once you start getting really involved with the game, then, switching to a glidier putter like a P2 or, a dagger or something like that, then you're already used to throwing it at, mid speed to get it there. And then the putter just floats for you. But I'm kind of on the fence about that because I don't know if I would want to actually do that to somebody.
If we're talking like one disc challenge, I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Or you're on like a super budget, you don't really want to get 3 discs. Get a mid range and something a little quicker. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
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 But like I said, when you feel comfortable to move on to throwing a putter, definitely do it. But if you don't feel comfortable, you want a little bit more leeway, I would definitely start with just a mid-range and fairway driver.
Yeah, because I've talked to a lot of the people that I have played with that are really super smooth throwers. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few specifically just started with classic rocks, like usually it's like dudes that are a little bit older, started a little bit earlier in the game, where they don't throw hard, but they throw smooth and with a lot of good spin control. And so they're like, yeah, for the longest time, I just threw, kind of like your dad's story, Tyler, where it's like he just threw Frisbees and, obstacle type stuff. And, that spin just kind of transfers into something like, a D-line MD or a classic rock or, things along those lines, like we were saying, that's just going to make you, like you guys were saying, just way smoother. So I totally agree on that. I think if I was going to get somebody into a putter right away, if I could choose for them, I would probably choose a dart, to be honest.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I feel like the dart is so
goes
super
where you throw
straight.
it.
If you have good smooth form, like I wish I started with a dart. Now I can throw a dart straight, but in my first probably 3 years of playing, if I picked up a dart and tried to putt with it, I'm sure it would just wobble and like go in some weird direction, or go flip right or something like that, more than likely, because I was trying to putt with max weight P2s right away, and like JK AVRs, big old bead AVRs. So I kind of wish that's where I started. So I think if I had to give somebody a putter, it'd probably be a dart, or maybe even a P1, but you can't really find P1s anymore. So
yeah,
but
an AVR, not
yeah, an AVR would work. Yeah, DX AVR or something. I think if I was going forward, starting people out, I've introduced a few people to the game, and I have given them like a super lightweight C-line FD. And I just feel like even at that point, you start developing that habit of, trying to put Anheuser on the disc and, putting a like weird torque on it to try to get it to, not dive hyzer right away and just fall out of flight. So even in that, my experience, I guess if I was showing somebody that was, like a baseball player or something, and they were throwing left-handed, then for sure I would give them an FD, because a baseball player, baseball stance, if you transfer that to disc golf, it's actually a left-handed thrower.
Right.
Unless they throw forehand. So if I'm going to show a baseball player, I might even just say like, hey, you might try learning both hands and be ambidextrous. Like, that's something I was thinking about when I was like, if I could teach somebody to be ambidextrous rather than throwing a forehand, then I might do
played
both.
With the idea.
Yeah, there's
there's a few.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
Yeah,
who obviously does it.
Eagle, I played a tournament with him at Kiss the Sky, and he threw like a 350-foot backhand for a birdie on film. Check it out, spintv.com.
Oh my god!
Free plug.
Yeah, hit us up, Spin TV.
Yo, we need some sponsorship in here.
We need.
But so I don't know. There's a guy around here too. I want to say he's got to be close to 1,000 rated.
Oh,
and he's got to be. He's a really solid player. His name's Dustin Hummel, and he can throw left-handed as well, and so he will lean on throwing left-handed over a forehand pretty much every time.
yeah.
And when I see him do it, I'm like, man, that actually looks way easier, and just like on his body even. But he's a super tall dude, so he can slow down and just throw, like smoothish, and it's still gonna go like 350 feet, So, so he's got that tall guy benefit. But,
Comes in handy.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a local around here. His name's Kyle Griffin. Shout out to him. He's on Team Discmania as well.
Yep.
Some of you already might know him. But he could throw both, but when he throws preferably right-handed off the tee, and then he'll putt with his left.
Interesting. I didn't know that about him.
And he's 1,010, I think.
Yep.
Dang. I wonder, do you know why that is? Like what?
He said I asked him, and he said it's what feels comfortable to him, honestly.
He also told me, so maybe he's just full of crap, because he told me that he doesn't want his right arm to get too tired during tournaments.
Wow. Yeah, no, he didn't tell me that.
Interesting.
But if you've met Kyle, it's kind of hard to take anything he says. You should probably throw a grain of salt or two on there.
Yeah.
He's a goofball.
Yeah.
But he's a damn good player. No doubt about that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I see him posting up a lot, so he's yeah, it'll be interesting to see because he's pretty young as well, right? Isn't he? I think he's like mid-20s, right?
I think he's a year older than me. I think he's 25.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting what the next few years holds for him because I thought I remember seeing on some of the Discmania posts where you guys post, team members and how they did in tournaments and stuff. I feel like I saw him pretty regularly last year in like top fives and stuff like that as far as just the tournaments that he does play. And
he actually started off pretty hot this year in the season. He was out in Texas, and I think he placed honestly like third or like fourth or fifth, around there.
He was killing it. He's beating a lot of good players.
Oh, damn.
And then sadly this whole pandemic thing happened, and now he had to come back home and tour got cut. But I would really like to see him out on the road next season or end of this season.
He's got a mindset for it too. I think he'd do well.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good for him. I hope him and I'm hoping Colton comes out still like super hot like he did. That was
so sweet.
I think we're all huge Colton fans just through association, but
I don't know who isn't though. If you're not, get your head on straight.
Yeah, that's true.
Head out of the gutter. Come on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes for sure. Because there's a lot of room for sure. Like
there's a lot of good players out there, man.
Yeah, Rick had to take that time off from thankfully seems like he's healthier now, but he had to take that time off. Paul had to take time off.
Eagle took a little time off.
Yep. I mean, Simon's been working his butt off.
Yeah, we'll see.
But, there's definitely a lot of room for some of these, maybe in the past couple years, fringe type players where you might see them, once or twice a year on tournament coverage. I think there's a lot of room for sure for them to come back pretty hot. We'll see who's been staying busy over quarantine and who hasn't.
For sure.
So we know Paige is going to come back hot too. And I bet you, because Nate's out there on that course as well, right? Out there practicing.
Yeah, in Northern California, right?
Seems to be on the avocado farm.
Yeah.
That place looks awesome.
It does look super sick. But it'll be interesting to see. So yeah, I think the general consensus amongst us then is probably find yourself a baseline mid-range. So, and if you don't know what that is, just Google like DX or D-line or what's base in latitude language.
Classic, right?
Classic or just hard or medium or.
Okay. Yeah, so feel free to Google search those terms, or usually it says it on the disc. So if you are new to the sport, feel free to go and check that out, and hopefully help out those of you who are maybe new to the sport or aren't really sure about the sport, where to go. Because those baseline discs are going to be a lot cheaper as well, because they'll be like $10 or $12 or something versus
$9.99 for sure is what we charge for anything based in the D line.
Yeah, versus like 16 to, if you get like a special release or something, like sometimes 20, $23, So definitely I encourage everyone, obviously we're in a disc golf podcast, but if you are listening and you haven't played disc golf and you're just here to support me or something like that, or Jaime or Tyler, you're just friends of friends or something like that, $10 and get yourself outside. More and more courses are opening in my state anyways. It sounds like Colorado is pretty open as far as disc golf goes.
Pretty well open.
It's booming.
You can distance yourself. Like, even if you play with friends, you don't have to get close to one another. If that's a concern of yours, you get outside, fresh air, get out of the house. It's cheap. And, all you really pay for is just, if you want to take a Gatorade or something with you.
Yeah.
So maybe the occasional parking fee for $5, but.
So win.
Yep, pretty much.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. We're pretty close to wrapping up here, but did you guys have any news or anything you guys been hearing out there in them streets?
Yeah.
You want to talk about?
Yeah, I got some. So in our last episode, we talked about Olin, the disc golf destination island that Disc Golf Park is working on.
Yeah, in Finland, right?
Yes. Quick, brief update. 9 out of the 16 courses on that island are complete.
Oh my gosh.
Like design-wise.
Oh,
Design.
Okay.
I was like, it's in the ground right now?
I was like, wow, that was fast. You guys were quick.
I think the way they're attacking it is let's design all the 16 and then put in the baskets then in the tee pads and so on and so on.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so there's the update for that. I think they're back next week to design the rest.
Do you know, is Avery going out there to help? Because I know he's a big part of the disc golf park, right?
I think he would be, but this whole Finland has their borders closed, I think.
Oh,
so yeah, they're not
local only.
Yeah, so that's the thing. But I think it would have been awesome to send Avery out there. I think that was the plan. That dude's played over 1,100 courses, so he has the knowledge for designing a course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Avery. He's
been around the block a few times.
Dude. What a dude
Great
Avery
guy.
is.
Yeah, great guy.
Like, just to see him, the dude throws so far.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future of disc golf when I hope his kids take on the sport. And I'm excited to see what his 2 younger boys will do with the sport.
Yeah,
especially if they're going to learn from him. Like,
Yeah, plus, the Doss in-law probably doesn't hurt.
Dude. Yeah, they're set, honestly.
Yeah.
Good to go. Got some world champs coming up.
Yep.
Hey,
Not bad.
Speaking of world champs.
Here first.
Speaking of world champs, my news update is go check out Virtual Putting Invitational.
Yeah.
Disc Golf Pro Tour put out a cool, virtual putting league for the top pros, and Heather Young is my pick for the next dominant player in disc golf.
Yeah,
she bangs putts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really interesting to see all this stuff, because I had seen some videos of, like, obviously there's like some putting clinics and stuff like that out there, but really the only time I see, competition putting.
Dave, if you can hear us, you might want to cut that out or re-say what you just said, because
we're losing you.
We lost you there.
Oh. Well, the good thing is I am recording off of my local.
Oh, Dave, can you hear us?
So even if you guys lose me, but anyways, yeah. So.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Carry on.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, the only time I really have ventured into like watching putting competitions and stuff, like I know there's the I don't even know the official name of it, but it's like the putting championships or whatever. I've watched some of the videos from there, but I've never really looked into seeing if there's like really super quality coverage of that stuff. But I'll see, like, I remember there was a really popular video of Ricky putting it was like they were putting inside of like it almost looked like a theater or something. And
that was glass blown, I think.
okay, that might have been it. But yeah, just seeing him, he was just banging like huge putts, just prime Ricky, just running the crap out of putts, barely over the rim. And so yeah, I've been super excited watching it, and getting all like the commentary. You got like Jerry Miller in there, and
it's cool.
It's pretty cool. It's cool what they're putting together. So,
well, and back on that beginner tip, if you're looking for a putting style, if you watch that tournament and don't find one, I don't know, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. It really does like showcase all the different.
Yeah, you can do it your own way, but there's a lot of different ways that are showcased to perfection.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost dangerous too, because
you're like, ooh, that looks nice.
Yeah. If you're gonna watch like sure. Nico putt, and you're like, that looks super cool, and I want to do that because he's really good at it. And then you go out.
Be your own person.
You
but,
stick out like the super wide stance.
You need a starting point.
Yeah. That you definitely want to try it for yourself before committing. Try a few different styles, because that's something I didn't do when I started, was actually try out different styles. Like I was just like, well, Paul's the best player in the world, I'm gonna putt like Paul, and I could have benefited a lot more from trying out different styles. So but yeah, you're totally right about just being able to see all of them is definitely cool. You definitely see people's personalities come out too.
Mm-hmm.
Like hear like Ricky trash talking and
Calvin trash talking. Who would have thought?
That dude, oh man, it's just when he looks out there, he just keeps a straight face, and he's just like,
dude, in his backyard, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to that guy. He just makes a facial expression. Don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, he was on Simon and Eagles vlogs during Waco, and I was like, Calvin, come to Discmania. Be a crush boy.
Yes. He certainly fits the qualifications for that. For sure.
And he was cracking jokes, stuff like that. I almost feel bad for him because everybody reacts like that to him whenever he does anything. That it's like just sometimes just let the guy live his life.
On the course, he's a robot, but he's a robot making birdies.
True.
Yeah.
Yep. But and then I forget what exact tournament it was, but I saw that I think it was Disc Golf Pro Tour were saying they're still trying to plan for like late June to come back.
I think the official thing is June 29th. They just updated it today. They added two events. I think they got the Dynamic Disc Open, which is in Emporia, since GBO was canceled. I think they're basically going to just do that, but in a different tournament.
Gotcha.
And then they added another event, because I think Portland also is off the list of that.
Yeah, I had heard just through my friend groups that park for Portland Open, Blue Lake Park, is part of Portland Metro, so basically just like the city. It's a city park. And so they're still trying to evaluate social distancing and stuff like that for hosting a tournament. So I have a feeling, knowing how Portland is, that it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because everybody around here, it's a little hard, because I feel like we want to open up tournaments, and everybody is so hyped to get back to, attending tournaments and all this stuff, that once we do get a tournament, it's just going to be absolute craziness, because everybody's going to want to go, and everybody's want to get outside and get a piece of the action,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's it's the Dynamic Disc Open at Emporia. That's the first event they added, and the second one is the Persevere Championship, which is in Clearwater, Minnesota, I think.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I might be wrong. What's MN is Minnesota or
I think
Montana?
so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
One is but yeah, that's where
It's
that's what they
somewhere.
added.
Google it.
Sorry.
We're disc golfers, dude. It's okay.
I need to get learned. Sorry. But basically, they also have all these phases that they're implementing, from no spectators to light spectators. Like disc golfers aren't even allowed, who are playing in these tournaments, aren't allowed to have caddies. So
Interesting.
there's that.
That's kind of weird, because you would think if...
Gotta carry your own bag now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll see if disc golf carts are hard to find then.
There you go.
True.
Yeah, that's... I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, it's a lot of people have, their significant other carry for them, or, it's somebody that they tour with anyways. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just card size is what they're, just group size in general is what they're worried about.
They're starting off with only 3.
Interesting.
Yep. Because that's the official PGA rule, right? You at least have to have 3 on the card.
Yep.
For any sanction event.
Yeah.
And then when things get lifted in the states that they're in running these tournaments,
Right.
They'll proceed to 4 on a card. Still following the whole 6 feet rule, but
Right.
that's what I've read.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I will happily take tournaments starting at 3 a card. I'll
for
be a
sure.
little
Sign
bummed
me up.
because that's 25% less shots I get to watch in coverage, but
Yeah, I'll take it.
yeah, I will definitely take that right now, and I'm sure all the pros will too. I'm sure
And
they.
there's also going to be testing for the coronavirus at these events, if need be.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole thing. I'll share it with you guys, but there's a whole thing about this.
There's a freaking huge spider on my wall.
Oh boy!
Side note. Oh, goodness. All right, anyway.
Kind of learned disc golf.
Carry on.
I'm sure they'll be willing to do whatever it takes, if that means carrying their own bag or, not being on lead card even though you're in 4th place. I feel like
Right? Yeah.
just anything to get back on tour. I know
I think at that
see
point you gotta record both cards and call it lead card 1, lead card 2.
Yeah, true. I'm down.
I'm here, Disc Golf Pro Tour. What's up? I got
I'm out
ideas.
here. I got the ideas. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so out of the loop with all that stuff. I don't even know where testing is at, and how it would even work, or how long it takes to get test results. So what they would probably, so you're saying they are probably going to require it for the players?
I mean, I don't know that much detail. I don't, maybe if someone's like, "Hey, yo, someone over here has a cough," test them. But I don't know. It's more maybe you have to get cleared to play the event, and if you're not clear, you don't get to play the event.
Gotcha.
You can go either route.
Right.
I bet a lot of people are going to be saying Paul's got a cough.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, if
Side note.
any world champs around here, yeah.
They all got coughs.
Yeah, they all, yeah.
I got the spider. Don't worry, guys.
Okay, good. I was really worried about that.
I can tell you guys
Tyler
are concerned.
I was worried for your safety. Cool, guys. Well, I think that'll probably be about it. Is there anything you guys want to shout out before we get out of here?
I just want to go ahead and say, go ahead and if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'd like to keep up with some disc golf stuff. I post it daily. Under at Jaime_Tarantino. I know it's a little weird, but follow me.
Which is Jaime, for those
Yeah,
of you who are aware.
Jaime. Spelled like Jamie, but not Jamie.
But Jaime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm at Tyler_Liebman_24981. You can find me on the Googles if you can't remember that. I don't post regularly, but I'm trying.
Good content. I approve.
Yeah. Yeah, then as for me, if you're listening to this at this point, you're probably already on my YouTube channel, but make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more episodes of this podcast, as well as disc reviews, just some random round stuff, and just pretty much whatever I feel like posting. But it's all disc golf related. And then obviously shout out to Discmania and Latitude. Thank you guys for supporting us and the podcast as well. And as for that, I think we'll probably call it an episode. So thank you guys again for joining me.
Later, guys.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for joining.